Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a complex built to survive nuclear war, Admiral Choi Hyejin stared at the tactical display. Red markers showed Vel fleet movements across 15 sectors. The numbers kept growing. 15,000 warships, maybe more. The largest military force assembled in 3,000 years of galactic history, all coming for Earth. General Lee Sunwoo stood beside her. The evacuation plans are ready. We can move 3 billion people to underground shelters within 48 hours. The rest will need to take their chances. No evacuations, Hyejin said quietly. Admiral, we're not running. We're not hiding. We're fighting. She turned to face the War Council. 20 officers filled the room. Each one commanded fleets, armies, or weapons programs. Each one looked grim. They outnumber us 5 to 1, General Lee continued. Their shields are stronger. Their ships are bigger. Standard doctrine says we should negotiate. Standard doctrine is for people who fight fair wars. Hyejin touched the display. It zoomed in on the Vel fleet formation. Look at this. Perfect ranks, perfect spacing, perfect order. They haven't fought a real war in 3,000 years. They've forgotten what war actually means. Lieutenant Nam Sora entered the room. Her flight suit was dirty from combat. She had just returned from the outer colonies. Admiral, my squadron engaged Vel scouts near the Mars orbital platform. We destroyed all 6 with no losses. How did they fight? Hyejin asked. Like robots, predictable attack patterns, no creativity. They flew in perfect formation even when we broke it. They're trained for intimidation, not actual combat. Hyejin smiled. Good. That confirms what we suspected. They're dangerous because they're strong, not because they're smart. A door opened. Dr. Yoon Minho walked in carrying a data case. He looked nervous. Everyone in the room knew why. Minho ran the Advanced Weapons Research Program. For 30 years he had designed weapons humanity hoped never to use. Show them, Hyejin ordered. Minho activated a holographic display. We've been preparing for this since we joined the galactic community. The Council has rules about weapons development. They banned kinetic weapons above a certain size. They banned antimatter. They banned AI-controlled weapons. They banned anything they considered too dangerous, he paused. We ignored every single ban. The display showed massive railguns. They could accelerate projectiles to relativistic speeds. Simple tungsten rods traveling at near light speed hit with the force of nuclear weapons. But they weren't nuclear, so Vel shields designed to stop radiation would be useless. We have 300 orbital platforms equipped with these. Each platform can fire 20 shots before needing to recharge. That's 6,000 planet-killing strikes. Next came the stealth technology. The Council thinks their sensors can detect anything. They're wrong. We developed hulls that absorb all electromagnetic radiation, ships that run completely cold. No heat signature, no energy output, invisible. General Lee whistled. How many ships have this? 50 destroyers, 30 cruisers, 10 carriers, all fully operational. The next display showed something more frightening. This is hive mind. Our AI network connects every ship, every fighter, every soldier in real time. When one unit learns something, every unit knows it instantly. We can coordinate fleet movements across light years with no delay. Minho saved the worst for last. And these are the weapons we really don't want to use. Antimatter warheads, quantum disruption torpedoes that tear apart matter at the atomic level, nanite swarms that consume enemy ships from the inside. We have enough of this to destroy every planet in Vel space 10 times over. The room fell silent. Captain Han Taemin, who had just arrived from Nexus Prime, spoke first. Are we really going to use all this? Some of these weapons could destroy ecosystems, kill billions. Only if we have to, Hyejin said. But the Vel need to know we can. They need to understand what happens when you threaten humanity's survival. We didn't build these weapons because we're cruel. We built them because we're cautious. She changed the display to show Earth's history. Every species in the galaxy evolved on worlds that were relatively safe. Stable climates, predictable seasons, abundant food. They became intelligent because they had time to think and create. The display showed ice ages, volcanic eruptions, mass extinctions. Earth tried to kill us constantly. We survived because we adapted faster than the planet could destroy us. We learned to use tools. We learned to plan. We learned to work together. And we learned that the best defense is overwhelming offense. General Lee nodded slowly. You're saying we're naturally better at war than they are? Not better. more experienced. The Vel have been dominant for 3,000 years. They forgot what it's like to face extinction. Humans? We've faced extinction dozens of times. We're still here because we're good at not dying. Ambassador Park Ji-woo appeared on a video screen. She was still on the Harmony's Reach, racing back to Earth. Admiral, I just received a communication from the Council. 3 member species have withdrawn their support for the Vel. They're calling for negotiations. Too late, Hyejin said. The Vel declared total war. We didn't choose this, they did. Now we finish it. Lieutenant Sora raised her hand. What's the plan, Admiral? Hyejin turned back to the tactical display. They expect us to defend our colonies, fortify our positions, wait for them to arrive. That's what every other species they conquered did. She tapped the screen. The display changed to show Vel space. We're not defending. We're attacking. We're going to hit them so hard, so fast, and so brutally that they'll never forget what happens when you declare war on humans. General Lee looked shocked. We're invading Vel territory? Not invading. Liberating. The Vel conquered 7 species before joining the Council. Those species are still under Vel control, still treated as servants, still waiting for someone to free them. Hyejin smiled coldly. We're going to give them that chance. And when those species see us breaking Vel power, they'll help us. Dr. Minho spoke quietly. This could work. The Vel think everyone fears them. But fear only works until someone proves you can be beaten. Hyejin began issuing orders. General Lee, mobilize all ground forces. We're going to need occupation troops for every system we take. Lieutenant Sora, get your pilots ready. You're leading the first strike. Dr. Minho, I want every experimental weapon online and ready within 24 hours. She turned to Taemin on the screen. Captain, when you reach Earth, you're taking command of the stealth destroyer Silent Thunder. We need someone who understands diplomacy to lead our covert operations. Understood, Admiral. Everyone else spread the word. This isn't just humanity's fight. This is a fight for every species that's tired of being pushed around by bullies. The Vel Empire ends now. The officers filed out. Soon only Hyejin and Ji-woo remained, linked by video. Ji-woo spoke first. Are you sure about this? Once we start, there's no going back, I know. But they made their choice. They saw us as weak because we tried to join their council peacefully. They thought we wanted membership because we needed protection. Hyejin's expression hardened. They didn't understand that we wanted peace because we know what war costs. We're good at war. Too good. That's why we avoid it. And now we show them exactly what humanity is capable of. Not because we want to, because they gave us no choice. Hyejin accessed the fleet-wide communication system. Every ship, every station, every soldier, everyone would hear this. This is Admiral Choi Hyejin. By now you all know that the Vel Empire has declared war on humanity. They think we're weak. They think we'll surrender our colonies. They think we'll beg for mercy, she paused. They're wrong. Humanity survived ice ages. We survived plagues that killed half our population. We survived wars that turned continents into wastelands. We survived because we never give up. We never surrender, and we never forget who struck first. Her voice grew harder. The Vel wanted war because they thought we were prey. They're about to learn they've always been the prey. Earth produced the most successful predators in galactic history. We just learned to be civilized. But civilization is a choice we make. And when someone threatens everything we've built, that choice changes. We're not defending. We're attacking. We're going to break their fleets. We're going to liberate their slaves. We're going to show the galaxy what happens when you corner the species that invented warfare. She ended with words that would be remembered forever. They wanted to teach us our place in the galaxy. Instead, we're going to teach them a lesson they'll never forget. We're humans. We're dangerous. And we're done hiding it. 2 weeks after the Battle of New Jeju, humanity's counteroffensive shocked the galaxy. 4 Vel-occupied systems had been liberated. 3 enslaved species were now free. Human forces established bases deep inside what everyone thought was secure Vel territory. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Ambassador Park Ji-woo appeared on screen from the command ship Pathfinder. She looked different now, harder. This wasn't the diplomat who had asked politely for council membership. This was someone who had seen war up close. The council calls for immediate ceasefire negotiations, a delegate announced. Take that request to the Vel, Ji-woo replied. Humanity didn't start this war. We'll finish it on our terms. Your forces are attacking deep into Vel space. You freed their subject species. This goes beyond self-defense. Jiwoo's expression didn't change. The Vel conquered 7 species, enslaved billions, destroyed cultures, all while the Council did nothing. Now you're upset because we're actually stopping them? Another delegate spoke. The Vel have agreed to reparations. They'll withdraw their forces. Isn't that enough? No. The only acceptable terms are complete Vel disarmament and freedom for every species they've oppressed. They wanted total war. They'll get total victory or total defeat. There's no middle ground. High Arbiter Vel Throne joined the Council feed. His scales had lost their shine. His eyes showed fear. Humanity has made its point. We underestimated you. Now let us negotiate an honorable peace. You gave up honor. When you fabricated evidence to justify this war, Jiwoo said coldly, you attacked us because you thought we were easy prey. Now face the consequences. Vel Throne's image disappeared. The council session ended in chaos. 3 more species withdrew membership. The 1,000-year-old institution was collapsing. On Earth, Admiral Choi Hee-jin studied the star maps. Her staff had located the Vel homeworld. Every Vel ship returned there to refuel and rearm. Every command decision originated there. The planet was surrounded by defensive stations that had never been breached. Shields powered directly by their sun made it the most fortified location in known space. We can't break those defenses with a conventional assault, General Lee Sun-woo said. They've had 3,000 years to build them. Even our kinetic weapons won't penetrate. Then we don't break them, Hee-jin replied. We go around them. She explained the plan. Captain An Soo-jin would lead 70 ships in a direct assault on the Vel homeworld, a suicide mission, or so the Vel would believe, while every Vel defense focused on that attack. Commander Ojinha's stealth fleet would drift into the system on ballistic trajectories. No engines, no power, just cold hulls coasting through space like debris. Once inside their defensive perimeter, Colonel Hwang Kyung-soo's Marines will deploy directly to the planet's surface. Their targets aren't military, they're infrastructure. Power plants, shield generators, communications. General Lee whistled. You're going to shut down their defenses from inside. Exactly. The Vel built their defenses to stop attacks from space. They never considered someone might already be on their planet when the assault begins. Captain Soo-jin stood in the briefing room of her ship, the assault carrier Relentless. Her crew knew this operation would be brutal. We're the bait, she told them. The Vel will throw everything at us. Our job is to survive long enough for the stealth fleet to get into position. Some of us won't make it home. Her crew remained silent. Then one by one they nodded. They understood. This was the price of ending the war. 3 days later, the operation began. Soo-jin's task force emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Vel home system. Alarms screamed across every Vel station. The humans were here, at their homeworld. This was impossible. Vel defense stations activated. Energy weapons capable of vaporizing capital ships powered up. Thousands of automated drones swarmed toward the human fleet. Every Vel ship in the system scrambled to intercept. Soo-jin watched the tactical display. All ships, evasive maneuvers. Make them work for every hit. The Relentless shuddered as energy beams grazed its shields. Around her, human ships weaved and dodged. They weren't trying to win this fight, just survive it. Light years away, Jinha's stealth fleet had already been drifting toward the Vel homeworld for weeks. They had launched from hidden positions, traveling on trajectories calculated to perfection. No active propulsion, no heat signatures, nothing that would alert Vel sensors. We're approaching the defensive perimeter, Jiho reported. So far, no indication they've detected us. Good. Maintain radio silence. Not a single electronic emission. The stealth ships passed through the Vel defenses like ghosts. Defense stations scanned for active ships, powered vessels, anything that registered as a threat. Cold, dead hulls drifting on ballistic paths didn't trigger any alarms. Inside those, ships Colonel Hwang Kyung-soo and 3,000 Marines waited in drop pods. They wore armor designed for this exact mission. Minimal electronics, maximum protection. Each soldier carried enough firepower to level a building. 5 minutes to drop position, Jinha announced. Kyung-soo addressed his troops. We're landing in the middle of the most protected world in the galaxy. Our targets are marked. Hit them fast and hard. Once we shut down their infrastructure, the Admiral's fleet can finish this. Remember, we're not here to conquer. We're here to end this war. The stealth ships reached optimal position. Launch, Jinha ordered. 3,000 drop pods burst from the ships. They descended through the Vel homeworld's atmosphere like meteors. The Vel saw them coming but couldn't respond. Every defensive weapon was pointed at Sujin's fleet in orbit. By the time Vel ground, forces realized what was happening. The Marines had already landed. Kyung-soo's pod crashed into the ground near a massive power station. He kicked open the door and rolled out, weapon ready. Around him, his team did the same. Move! We have 10 minutes before they organize a response. The Marines stormed the power station. Vel technicians fled in terror. These were civilians, not soldiers. Kyung-soo didn't harm them. Clear the building. We're setting charges, not shooting workers. His demolitions expert planted explosives at key points. Charges set, Colonel. 30-second timer. Everyone out. They retreated as the power station exploded. Across the Vel homeworld, similar explosions lit up the night. Communications towers fell. Shield generators went dark. Fuel depots erupted in flames. 3,000 Marines struck hundreds of targets simultaneously. In orbit, Captain Sujin watched her tactical display change. Admiral, the shields around the planet are failing. Hyejin's voice came through. All ships, begin assault. End this. The main human fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel. Hundreds of ships that had been waiting for this moment. With the Vel defenses offline, they swept through the system like a storm. High Arbiter Vel Throne stood in his command center on the planet's surface. Reports flooded in. Humans on the ground. Shields down. Fleet under attack. Everything was falling apart. How did they get past our defenses? They were already here, High Arbiter. Those ships have been drifting toward us for weeks. We never saw them. Vel Throne felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries. True fear. The humans hadn't just defeated his fleet. They had infiltrated his homeworld, shut down defenses that took millennia to build, and now their fleet was in orbit with nothing stopping them. Colonel Kyung-soo's voice broadcast on all Vel frequencies. Vel Military Command, this is Colonel Hwang Kyung-soo of the Human Defense Force. Your defenses are down. Your infrastructure is destroyed. You have two options: surrender immediately, or we demonstrate why humans don't make statues to mercy. Vel Throne looked around his command center. His officers stared at him, waiting for orders. But what orders could he give? The humans had already won. Open a channel to the human fleet, he said quietly. Admiral Hyejin appeared on screen. High Arbiter. I surrender. The Vel Empire surrenders. Please, no more killing. Your terms are accepted. Order all Vel forces to stand down. Any ship that continues fighting will be destroyed. Any ground force that resists will be eliminated. This war is over. Vel Throne broadcast the surrender order. Across the galaxy, Vel ships powered down their weapons. Vel soldiers laid down their arms. The war that was supposed to discipline humanity had ended with the Vel Empire broken. Ambassador Jiwoo stood on the bridge of the Pathfinder as the formal ceasefire was signed. But she felt no triumph, just exhaustion. The war had lasted only 3 weeks, but the cost had been enormous. Human casualties numbered in the thousands. Vel casualties in the millions. Was it worth it? Captain Taemin asked. They left us no choice, Jiwoo replied. We tried peace. They chose war. We finished what they started. She looked at the Vel homeworld on the view screen. Now comes the hard part. Winning the war was easy. Building a lasting peace? That will take generations. Lieutenant Sora landed her fighter on the Indomitable. Her squadron had lost 12 pilots, 12 friends who would never see home again. The victory felt hollow. Dr. Minho's weapons had worked perfectly. Too perfectly. He stared at reports showing the devastation his inventions had caused. Entire fleets destroyed. Cities damaged. Countless lives ended. He had created these weapons to protect humanity. Now he wondered if the cost was too high. But across the liberated worlds, species that had lived under Vel domination for centuries celebrated. Freedom, they thought. 3 months after the Vel surrender, the galaxy looked completely different. The Galactic Council had dissolved. 4 species withdrew immediately after the war ended, refusing to associate with a body that had supported the Vel's aggression. 3 other species petitioned humanity for protection agreements, afraid of what might replace the old order. Admiral Choi Hyejin stood on the observation deck of her command ship, watching Vel space through the viewport. Human ships moved between planets, overseeing the demilitarization process. Every Vel warship was being dismantled, their weapons removed, their hulls converted to cargo vessels or scrapped for materials. The last Vel battleship is ready for processing, General Lee Sun-woo reported. That makes 15,000 ships accounted for. The Vel Empire officially has no military capability. What about their subject species? Hyejin asked. All 7 have declared independence. We're providing them with defense platforms and training. Most are just grateful to be free after centuries of occupation. Hyejin nodded. Humanity had kept its word. The Vel were being disarmed but not destroyed. Their conquered species were free. Reparations were being paid from Vel resources, not Vel lives. Captain Han Taemin, now promoted to Commodore, commanded the Reconciliation Fleet. His ships carried food, medicine, and construction equipment to worlds devastated by the war. On a planet called Terral, which had been a Vel colony for 800 years, he met with the local leaders. Your people fought with great courage, an elderly Terral said. We tried to resist the Vel for generations. They crushed every uprising. Then humans arrived and defeated them in 3 weeks. We had advantages, Taemin said. Better technology. Different tactics. But mostly, we were desperate. The Vel threatened our survival. We responded the only way we knew how. Many of us helped you during the war. We sabotaged Vel supply lines. We fed you intelligence. We're glad we did, Taemin smiled. Then let's make sure your freedom was worth the cost. Chief Engineer Kang Daehyun has plans to rebuild your infrastructure. We'll help you become self-sufficient. Daehyun spread out holographic blueprints. Power generation, water purification, agricultural systems. We can have basic infrastructure running in 6 months, full independence in 3 years. Similar scenes played out across dozens of worlds. Humanity didn't occupy the territories they liberated. They helped rebuild them and then left. It was unprecedented in galactic history. Lieutenant Nam Sora tried to return to normal life. Her fighter wing had become famous. Children across human space knew her name. She was offered medals, promotions, speaking tours. She refused them all. I just want to forget, she told her squadron mates. I did what needed to be done. Now I want to move on. But nightmares followed her. She saw Vel ships exploding, heard their distress calls, remembered the ones she killed. War had seemed glorious before she fought one. Now she knew better. Dr. Yoon Minho struggled with similar demons. His weapons had ended the war quickly, saving countless lives by preventing a prolonged conflict. But he had still designed instruments of death. He requested a transfer to civilian research. I want to build things that help people, not kill them, he told Admiral Hyejin. I understand. You're approved for transfer, but remember, those weapons protected humanity when we needed protection. Don't regret what you created. Regret that we needed to create them. The most significant change occurred at Nexus Prime. The old Galactic Council chambers were being renovated. Ambassador Park Ji-woo helped draft the charter for a new organization, the Federation of Free Worlds. The old council maintained peace through dominance, Ji-woo explained to the assembled delegates. Powerful species controlled weaker ones. That system failed because it was built on fear and inequality. She gestured to the charter displayed on screens around the room. The Federation will be different. Every species gets equal representation. No military force can be used for conquest. Every world has the right to defend itself with any means necessary. A delegate from one of the former Vel subject species raised a concern. What stops another empire from rising? What stops humanity from becoming the new Vel? Ji-woo met the delegate's eyes. Nothing stops us except our own choices. We could dominate the galaxy. We have the military strength. But that's not who we are. We fought this war to protect ourselves, not to conquer others. How can we trust that? Because we're writing it into the Federation Charter. Any species that uses military force for conquest will face collective action from all other members. That includes humanity. If we ever become what the Vel were, you'll have every other species in the galaxy to stop us. The charter passed by unanimous vote. 37 species joined immediately. The Federation of Free Worlds was born. High Arbiter Vel Throne, who was now just Vel Throne, stood trial before a galactic tribunal. Commander Ojinha served as one of the judges. The prosecution demanded execution. Vel Throne had started a war that killed millions. He had enslaved entire species. Justice demanded the ultimate penalty, but Jinha surprised everyone. Execution is too easy, she argued. Vel Throne and his commanders should spend the rest of their lives rebuilding what they destroyed. Let them see the faces of those they oppressed. Let them understand what their arrogance cost. The tribunal agreed. Vel Throne was sentenced to life service. He would spend his remaining years helping reconstruct the worlds his empire had damaged. It was a punishment worse than death for someone who had once commanded legions. Why did you spare me? Vel Throne asked Jinha after the trial. Because killing you would make you a martyr. Making you serve reminds everyone what happens when species believe they're superior to others. You're alive as a lesson, not as mercy. Captain An Sujin took command of a new ship, the Pathfinder II. It was humanity's first vessel designed purely for exploration, not war. Her crew was mixed. Humans, Terral, reformed Vel officers who chose to serve the new order, and members of 4 other species. Admiral Hyejin visited before their departure. You're heading into unexplored space. No backup, no support. Just your crew and whatever you find out there. That's how humanity started, Sujin replied. A small group of explorers heading into the unknown. It's what we do best. The galaxy will be watching. You're proof that the Federation can work, that different species can cooperate. We won't let you down, Admiral. The Pathfinder II departed from Earth orbit. Thousands watched from the ground. This was humanity's future, exploration, not conquest. Discovery, not domination. Ambassador Jiwoo sent a final message that broadcast across the Federation. It would be remembered as the defining statement of the new era. 3 months ago, the Vel Empire declared war on humanity. They believed we were weak because we sought peace. They learned the truth. We're not weak. We're careful. We avoid war because we know what it costs. We understand violence because Earth taught us survival through 10,000 years of struggle. She paused, letting her words sink in. The Vel thought declaring war on us would be easy. Instead, they discovered why that was the galaxy's worst mistake. Not because we're cruel. Because we're effective. We evolved on a world that tried to kill us constantly. We learned to fight back better than anything that attacked us. But here's what the Vel never understood. Being dangerous doesn't mean being destructive. Being good at war doesn't mean loving war. We're dangerous because we had to be. Now we choose to use that danger to protect, not to conquer. Her expression softened slightly. The Federation of Free Worlds represents a promise. Humanity will defend the weak. We'll oppose tyrants. We'll protect freedom. But we won't dominate. We won't build empires. We learned from Earth that survival means adaptation, cooperation, and mutual respect. She concluded with words that would be carved into monuments across human space. To any species considering conflict, remember this war. Remember what happened when the Vel declared war on humanity. We didn't choose to be the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Evolution made that choice. But we choose what to do with that danger. We choose to be protectors, not predators. On Earth, a new monument was unveiled. It stood in the rebuilt plaza where the war had been announced. The monument bore names of every human who died in the conflict, alongside names of freed species and even Vel casualties. The inscription read, "We didn't choose war. War chose us. We didn't want to be dangerous. Survival made us dangerous, but we chose what kind of dangerous to be. Not conquerors, not tyrants, protectors." Lieutenant Sora attended the dedication ceremony. She stood beside families of pilots who hadn't returned. They cried. She cried. The victory had cost too much, even though it was necessary. Dr. Minho placed flowers at the base of the monument. His weapons had saved humanity but killed millions. He would spend the rest of his life trying to balance that equation. Admiral Hyejin gave the closing speech. The Vel Empire forced us to fight. We fought and won. Now we build something better. Not a new empire, a genuine community of free species working together. That's humanity's real victory. Not defeating the Vel, creating a galaxy where defeating them was necessary only once. Far from Earth in the unexplored regions of space, the Pathfinder 2 discovered a new habitable world. Captain Sujin and her mixed crew explored it together. Human, Terrell, and reformed Vel officers worked side by side. The war was becoming history. Commander Ojinha sat in the captain's chair of the Silent Thunder. Around her, the bridge crew worked in silence. No lights except dim red emergency strips. No active sensors. No engines running. The ship drifted through space like a dead rock, completely invisible to Vel scanners. For 3 days, they had shadowed the Vel Armada. The alien fleet was massive, thousands of ships stretching across millions of kilometers. Capital ships the size of cities. Support vessels clustered around them like protective children. All of it moving in perfect formation toward human space. Status? Gina whispered, though there was no need. The Vel couldn't hear them even if she shouted. Tech specialist Bei Jiho looked up from his console. I've infiltrated their communications network. Their encryption is strong, but it's designed to stop other Vel, not humans. I've mapped their entire command structure. I know which ship is the flagship. I know where their commander sleeps. Vel Commander Kreshtar, Jinha said. What's he saying? Jiho pulled up a translation. He's telling his captains this will be quick. He expects humans to surrender after the first battle. He's already dividing up which colonies his officers will govern. Jinha felt cold anger. They really think we're that weak. They've conquered 7 species this way. Same tactics every time. Show overwhelming force. Demand surrender. Occupy the colonies. It's worked for 3,000 years. This time will be different. Jinha opened a secure channel to Admiral Hyejin, Silent Thunder to Fleet Command. We're in position. The Vel have no idea we're here. Hyejin's voice came back. Good. They're about to enter the new Jeju system. Everything ready on your end? Yes, Admiral. Once they cross the threshold, we'll activate the trap. Then it's time. Show them what happens when you underestimate humanity. Jinha switched channels. All stealth ships, this is Silent Thunder. Operation Ghost begins in 10 minutes. Move to attack positions. Across the system, 80 human ships began moving. All of them invisible. All of them armed with weapons the Vel didn't know existed. They positioned themselves behind the approaching armada, forming a deadly net. In the new Jeju system, Lieutenant Nam Sora sat in her fighter cockpit. Around her, 200 other pilots waited on the carrier Indomitable. Captain An Sujin's voice came over the fleet channel. All ships, this is the Indomitable. The Vel fleet is 5 minutes from entering our system. Remember, they expect us to run. Instead, we're going to teach them why Earth is called a death world. Sora checked her weapons. Ghost Squadron, sound off. Her pilots responded one by one. All ready. All eager. They had trained for this their entire lives. Humanity's fighter corps was built on lessons from centuries of atmospheric combat, speed, agility, aggression. None of the other galactic species flew like humans did. The Vel Armada emerged from faster-than-light travel at the system's edge. 15,000 ships appeared in a display meant to terrify. Kreshtar stood on his flagship bridge, pleased with himself. The humans had positioned 50 cruisers in what looked like a defensive formation. Pathetic. All ships, advance. Destroy the defensive line. Show them the price of defiance, he ordered. The Vel fleet moved forward in perfect rows. Capital ships in front, support vessels behind. Exactly as their doctrine dictated. Exactly as they had done for millennia. Exactly as humanity predicted. The moment the Vel crossed into weapons range, Jinha gave the order. All ships drop stealth. Full attack. Space behind the Vel Armada exploded with human vessels. Ships that had been invisible suddenly appeared, their weapons already firing. The Vel formation, designed to push forward, had no defenses against attack from behind. Simultaneously, the 50 human cruisers that looked so weak suddenly unleashed a barrage of kinetic weapons. Tungsten rods accelerated to relativistic speeds crossed the distance in seconds. Vel shields designed to stop energy weapons offered no protection. The rods punched through capital ships like they were paper. Launch fighters, Captain Sujin ordered. The Indomitable's flight decks opened. Sora and her squadron poured out like angry wasps. 2,000 human fighters filled the space between the Vel ships. The aliens had never developed small craft tactics. Their weapons were built for ship-to-ship combat. Trying to hit human fighters was like trying to swat flies with a sledgehammer. Sora dove through the Vel formation. Her targeting computer locked onto a supply ship. Ghost Leader engaging. Her missiles streaked across the void. The supply ship tried to evade, but it was too slow. The explosion lit up her cockpit. One down. Moving to next target. Around her, the battle descended into chaos. The Vel had never faced an enemy that attacked from all directions simultaneously. Their perfect formation collapsed. Ships collided trying to turn. Commanders shouted conflicting orders. Panic spread through their ranks. Commander Kreshitar watched in disbelief. "How are they here?" "Our sensors showed nothing behind us." His tactical officer stammered. "I don't know, Commander. They must have stealth technology far beyond what we believed possible." Impossible. The Council's technological assessments said. The assessments were wrong. His officer's voice cracked. "Sir, we're losing ships faster than I can count. 30 capital ships destroyed. 100 support vessels. The humans are tearing us apart." Kreshtar's claws dug into his command chair. This couldn't be happening. The Vel Empire never lost battles. All ships break formation. Engage the enemy at will. But breaking formation only made things worse. Human ships had superior coordination through their hive mind network. Every human captain knew what every other captain was doing. They moved like a single organism, exploiting every weakness, targeting every gap. Gina guided the Silent Thunder through the chaos. "Target their flagship." "Jiho, jam their communications." "Already done." Their entire fleet is blind to coordinated orders. They're fighting as individuals now. "Perfect. Firing main weapons." The Silent Thunder's railguns spoke. Kreshtar's flagship shuddered as the impacts hammered its shields. Another volley followed. Then another. The shields collapsed. The fourth volley tore through the hull. "Commander, we're venting atmosphere from decks 5 through 12, someone shouted on the Vel bridge. Kreshtar couldn't believe it. His flagship was dying. Around him, the greatest armada ever assembled was being destroyed by a force a fraction of its size. "All ships retreat. We need to regroup," but retreating was almost impossible. Human ships blocked every escape route. The Vel were boxed in exactly as humanity planned. 6 hours later, the battle ended. The space around New Jeju was filled with debris. Broken ships, frozen bodies, the wreckage of Vel arrogance. Admiral Hyejin watched from her command center on Earth. The tactical display showed the results. 12,000 Vel ships destroyed, 3,000 limping away damaged. Human losses, 200 ships. Most of those were empty hulls abandoned after the crew evacuated. "Admiral, we're receiving communication requests from the Galactic Council," an officer reported. "Ignore them. We're not done yet." Captain Taman appeared on screen from the Silent Thunder. "Admiral, we captured the Vel flagship's navigation system. We now know the location of every Vel military base, including their homeworld." Hyejin felt a cold satisfaction. "Good, plot a course. We're taking this war to them. Admiral, that's hundreds of light years into Vel space. They'll be expecting us now. Let them expect us. They started this war thinking we were weak. Now they know we're dangerous. Next, they'll learn we're relentless." Across the galaxy, news of the Battle of New Jeju spread. Real-time footage showed human fighters dancing through Vel formations, showed capital ships exploding under kinetic bombardment, showed the impossible happening. Humanity defeating the greatest military power in the galaxy. 3 council members issued immediate statements calling for peace negotiations. 2 others withdrew their species from council chambers entirely. The galaxy was learning a lesson it should have known from studying Earth's history. Never corner humans. Never threaten their survival. And never ever assume they'll fight fair. On the Vel homeworld, High Arbiter Velthrone watched the battle footage in stunned silence. This was impossible. The Vel had conquered 7 species. They had maintained dominance for 3,000 years. How could a young species, barely in space for 2 centuries, defeat them so completely? His military advisors scrambled to explain. "Their technology is more advanced than we thought. Their tactics are unprecedented. They fight without honor, without rules. They fight to win," Velthrone said quietly. "We forgot what that means." "What are your orders, High Arbiter?" Velthrone stood. "Send every remaining ship to defend our territory. Call in all our allies. This war is far from over." But even as he gave the orders, doubt crept into his mind. The humans had hidden their true strength for 30 years. They had prepared for this war while pretending to seek peace. What else were they hiding? What other horrors waited in their arsenal? Light years away, Ambassador Park Ji-woo broadcast a message to every world in the galaxy. The Vel Empire declared war on humanity. They expected quick victory. Instead, they've learned the truth about Earth. We are a death world. Everything on our planet tried to kill us. We survived by becoming the most dangerous species evolution ever created. She paused. This war is not humanity's choice. We sought peace. The Vel chose violence. Now we will finish what they started.